Hey guys, welcome to another video. Guys, today we're going to talk about the integrated engineering tune with the exhaust, with the intake, and of course the tune. I am so impressed with the performance of this car. Now, we have an intercooler coming. I think it's coming in 2 days, so should be throwing that on the car this weekend or perhaps the weekend to follow. But I really want to maximize stage 1 before we jump on to any stage 2. That involves making the car a little bit louder, which I think a lot of you guys are excited for. I'm excited for it. I know that I can obviously control the volume with the valved exhaust. All in all, the package, everything provided by IE is unbelievable. They've been a great partner for the build. And actually, if you guys are interested in a little bit of a discount, and it actually helps out the channel, I'll include my discount code. You guys can input that into the checkout and get a little discount. Can't beat it. Again, I think I've done this in a more recent video, but I love just showing it off because it looks so good. And that would be the intake. And of course the car's on, so we get a little bit of rattle. Little TFSI rattle. Those are the injectors. But guys, look how beautiful this intake is. And you know what? I've had it on the car for over a year now, an entire year. I put about 20,000 miles on the car with just it like this, and of course the stage 1 tune too. And I'll tell you right now, it doesn't fade. There's no yellowing. You know, I think that's something that may happen down the line, but at least for now, it looks great. It's holding up really nicely. The piping is real good. You can see right back there we have a heat shield for the back of the inlet, just as it goes into the actual elbow itself. And overall, I really like it. You know, I wish it was a little bit more noisy, but at the same time, if you have an open filter, you're gonna risk any kind of heat soaking, and of course with the intercooler, that's gonna just solve all those issues. So I'm really excited. This is where the argument for an intake can really kind of make a difference, especially even if you're just running a stock tune. If you're not tuned, which I do recommend at least going stage 1. At this point, none of these cars have warranties, so just something to keep in mind. But you know, in this video, guys, I want to talk to you guys about the tune. I know we've talked on the exhaust, the intake. I mean, we have plenty of videos kind of showcasing how this thing sounds, how it drives. All right, let's minimize the screen. I'm driving in individual mode. I love individual because I can really kind of select truly my favorite settings. So one of my favorite settings being actually soft suspension and soft steering. I think that really kind of helps this thing drive real nice. These cars, these MQB cars, don't really soak up bumps as best as they could. So, you know, small chassis, small platform. So, you know, it's not anything like a, you know, let's even just say an A4. Those ride like butter. They're great. They're great riding cars. This thing was kind of more smaller scale. You know, bear in mind, this is based off an A3. So I love putting it in individual mode, especially for kind of my commutes back and forth. But yeah. But yeah, no, I've logged, I cannot believe it, but I've owned this car for over a year, and I have put 20,000 miles, actually plus 21,000 miles on this car, and it has actually kind of allowed me to, I mean, I love it. I truly do love everything about this car. I don't want to say, you know, I haven't had any issues, and I don't want to, you know, jinx it, but I truly haven't had any issues. It's been a great daily, especially with the stage 1 tune. I'm running 93 octane, and we actually get some really high quality gas being on the seacoast. You know, we're honestly blessed by that. But the tune, I have my power link loaded up. This is kind of what I set just for preference, but I only set this screen is mainly for like data logging. If you guys are curious about kind of how the data logging works and sort of how their support system works, it's really easy to use. It did not take me very long to figure it out, and sometimes things can, so I was really impressed. So again, if you go to settings, you flick on data logging, be mindful that each time you turn on the car or whatever, or get out, you're gonna have to just keep flicking that on. But if you're staying in the car, you know, you're doing some back-to-back pulls, you won't have to worry about retoggling it. But the data logging is really cool because once it's enabled, after 50% throttle, it starts logging your data, you know, so essentially getting all that data you need from a pull, and then you can set it into IE if you have any concerns, which I've never had any concerns. That's one of the beauties about this car. It really pulls nicely. There's no power loss at certain RPMs. It's really consistent, and you know, some of that may be just from our high quality gas, but I think, you know, high quality gas paired with a really solid tune, you know, you really can't beat it. But yeah, power numbers are really impressive with this thing. Obviously, with just a stage 1 tune, I mean, you're in the 400s, probably I would say mid 400, and torque is right up there too. I'm not gonna, you know, throw numbers out there because it varies on the car, it varies on what's been done to it. Yeah, just something to kind of be mindful of. Now, I'm not driving right now, so there's data logging. I flick that on, and it'll take a log for me. That's wicked cool. Merging onto this highway. I'll show you guys why we went with the RS3 paired with the IE tune. You can't beat that sound. And I'll admit, I took out a lot of things from the back. A weekend, sometimes you get a little bored and you just want to make your loud car even louder, right? So maybe I'm getting myself ready for that downpipe, but yeah, guys, as I mentioned, I really want to maximize stage 1. I'm so impressed with how this thing drives. I know it has a lot more in it. In fact, one of my good buddies also has an integrated engineering 8V RS3. His is pretty cool because it's that Nardo gray, that special color that a lot of people go nuts for. Personally, I really like it too. And he's got the analog gauges. That's not a, you know, a spec you see every day. So yeah, still kind of cool. But yeah, back to the tune. So, you know, things to be mindful of. Obviously, when you're tuning these kinds of cars, you do run the risk of, you know, a little bit of additional engine wear. But I'll tell you, with these types of cars, as long as you're on top of your maintenance, you take care of it when you need to. And what I really mean by the taking care of it, let it warm up. You know, let these things warm up a little bit. You know, it's easy for things to kind of go wrong or things to be overlooked. So just be mindful of that. You know, stay on top of your oil changes. I'll be frank with you guys, I change my oil every 5K. Some people do it even sooner, but I have run no issues with my oil. I bring it to Audi. I used to do my own oil changes, but we've run into some issues. So with this type of car, I bring it to Audi and they look through it. They do a really fine job servicing this thing and they don't have any issues. They don't notice anything wrong with it. You know, so that's just things to be mindful of. Obviously, beyond that, you know, your transmission, you got to stay on top of that. You want to make sure that you're changing the fluid every 40,000 miles on your DSG fluid, as well as your Haldex every 3 years and 30,000 miles. I was actually able to do mine a little bit later. I believe it was probably on that OEM fluid. I'm glad I got it done at, I think it was at 22,000 miles. But realistically, I think when I bought the car, I wish I was a little bit more urgent when it came to getting that taken care of as far as the Haldex goes. So just things to be mindful of. You know, everything else is really easy. Spark plugs, I would probably do those every 10 to 15,000. And I actually go with an OEM plug. There's probably more suitable plugs, probably better recommended plugs out there. But as far as me, I just go with the OEMs. I really like them, and they're kind of cheaper, so you guys are picking up what I'm putting down. But as long as you get them done, you know, and you really kind of make sure everything's all tight, and, you know, as you're doing your spark plugs, take the time as you kind of pull up those harnesses to look around the engine, you know, see if there's anything wrong. But yeah, I mean, as far as that goes, just general basic maintenance, and you have a pretty reliable car in your hands. Another thing too, just be mindful of, I guess, more of an RS3 thing, but these cars are known to bend rods. On a stock turbo or really kind of like just a stage 1 tune, it's less likely. It's still possible, but you know, if you guys ever watch my videos where I really romp on it, when I really accelerate, occasionally I roll into it, but a lot of the time I just downshift where I can get the RPMs as close to 4,000 as possible and even beyond, and then I do my pull, because a lot of times these engines really don't like when you lug them, and upon a stage 1 tune, less likely, but stage 2 and really kind of those big turbos is where you can bend a rod and run into some issues. So just be a little mindful of that. But yeah, I mean, as far as like a 93 tune goes, it's very impressive. Of course, it does have a brake boosting feature as well. So if I'm on the brake, let's do another downshift. On the brake, accelerate. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. Again, you really want to, you know, if I spent a little bit more time on the throttle, I'd probably have a little less lag. These cars aren't crazy at lag. They definitely lag a little bit. You know, with a stage 1 tune, it's going to lag. But overall, I mean, it's not that bad. And compared to most other tunes, I mean, I've been in a Unitronic car and it was impressive. And I'll be honest, I do like the crackles. But something to be said about just having a just a really nice sounding Daza, you know, without the excessive noise, which Crackles can kind of do. So that's why I like this. I think it's really kind of pure. It's you could call it even a mature setup for this type of car, even though, I mean, it's pretty loud. The valves are open. We'll throw the car in actually true dynamic mode. It's not going to change the sound at all, but you know, it's going to firm up the suspension, get the steering a little stiff, and we'll do a little bit more driving. So, but yeah, all in all, I've had the car obviously for a year, put about 20,000 miles on it, 21, and a lot of that's been tuned. I didn't own this thing for very long until I decided to tune it. I think it was 1 month. The car out of the box is really good, but once you add this level of performance and really kind of, you know, hone in the car, it's a really good package. I'm really impressed by it. And actually, a lot of you guys who have kind of taken my direction and followed, you know, this journey, and your RS3s have all said the same thing. It's just very impressive. Going off that too, I know a lot of you guys are wondering, well, Pete, like, you know, daily driving an RS3, especially stage 1, don't you kind of want to look after the transmission? I mean, that's a lot of shifting, and, you know, sure, even on a more spirited drive and upon launch control, it's nice to have a transmission tune just so you can kind of dial in, say, your launch control, or, you know, increase that clamping force, say if you go beyond a stock turbo. But I'll tell you now, and there's a lot of research into this too. I mean, this platform has been out for almost 10 years now. In fact, actually out in Europe, of course, they have their 8Vs, and this is an 8V.5. So the US market was a little late to it, but the transmission, I mean, from factory, it's a really good gearbox. This DQ500 holds down a lot of power and torque. You know, you got to respect it. You don't want to, again, lug it. You don't want to do these unnecessary downshifts or upshifts just for the sake of the engine. You know, first gear dumps, maybe not the smartest thing. Occasionally I catch myself doing it. There's a reason why this car, if you put it in sport auto, it only goes down to second until you go really to a rolling stop. But yeah, guys, these are my impressions. I'm really happy with the tune, and you know, obviously I do work a lot with IE, but I'm saying this right now, I'm extremely impressed by it, as I was, of course, with my Golf R and you know, future cars to come, if that's not a hint. So I'm super excited to keep going on this build. You know, we will go stage 2. I don't know when that'll be. It'll be soon. We're gonna throw in the intercooler, I think this weekend or the weekend to follow. We'll get all the servicing done. I'll do the dog bone mount, or the spherical mount, and we'll get this thing all locked in. I want to turn this thing into an absolute beast, especially if we can kind of let it live a little bit, a little longer in my garage by just daily driving, you know, something else. Because an RS3 is a great daily, but you know, the cost of ownership is crazy. Outside of kind of the performance stuff, really just like general maintenance. You know, it's an Audi. It has that Audi tax, so things to just be a little mindful of. But yeah, guys, this was a true rambling video, but I wanted to get my point across, and I hope I did. If you guys have any questions or anything like that, please let me know. As a reminder, please be sure to, you know, check out IE. Check out their catalog. They have so many things to support this car, and of course, you know, A3s, S3s, GTIs, Golf Rs, I believe even like some TTs as well. I think TTRS falls under the same scope as this car. I know it's the same engine, but, you know, box codes and so on. I believe they do support that model as well. So, but anyway, guys, I thank you again for watching the video. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace and love.